Hi everyone. So I've been away from YouTube for quite a while now, mainly because of life. Uh, Moved back to Malacca, living with my wife and kids. So I've stopped playing uh, Crossy Road Castle for a while, and instead I've been trying to invest time to make myself an expert in one of my games that I've really loved during my younger days, which was Medieval 2 Total War. And here I'll start sharing some of my recordings of playing one of the most popular mods in the game, which is Stainless Steel 6.4, which really expands the game and makes it more complex, more realism. And to top it off, as a masochist, I'm also playing a mod which makes the game really, really hard, which is Big Grim Reality, also known as BGR. And the version that I'm playing is BGR 5, which makes the game extremely hard and not for those who love a really hard game. It makes it really difficult for you to win as your empire gets bigger. And in fact, even as your empire is relatively small, it's still quite difficult. And as you can see here, I'm setting up the game, trying to choose between the AI. And in my experience so far, even with this so-called savage AI, which is relatively not so aggressive, the AI is very aggressive. And here I'm gonna select BGR 5 and also ensure that the AI recruits a relatively high quality army. And then I'm gonna select no starting AI and then normal event speed. So what normal event speed will do is that you will have 12 turns per year instead of, if I'm not mistaken, 2 turns per year. So you'll be really stuck in the 1300s in this game. And on top of that, to make the game even harder, I'm going to select the G5 really bad AI battle system along with the hardcore option, which makes commands during battles much more difficult. And to ensure that the game isn't so boring as factions are destroyed, I'm gonna select the Viva la Rebellion mod, which allows you to have situations where the destroyed factions can revive, depending on the conditions. So during my testing so far, it does work, even with the BGR5 mod. So here, gonna have the script handle everything. So just so you know, I think everybody knows that I'm primarily a Mac user. So here I'm playing the game on Windows 10 on VMware Fusion 12. And then I've been recording it using the built-in screen recording of Mac OS. All right, let's play. All right, so let's start a campaign, late era. I'm gonna play as the Fatimids because eventually in history it will evolve to become the Mamluk Empire, or the Mamluk Sultanate, however you want to put it. So I'm gonna use that faction. Of course, gonna be very hard. Manage all cities, no battle time limit, because especially as you play at this kind of level, you're gonna have to do some cheesy tactics and strategies to win. And even with those cheesy strategies, so far you can tell that I've been losing in general all of my campaigns because it took me so many months to actually upload a new video. Right. Forget the victory conditions. our aim is to simply survive the campaign. Alright, so with BGR 5 you have a 12 turn per year kind of setup, and the main aim each January is to set up how much of your population is gonna be devoted into manpower.
How may I serve, Sultan?
So
Sultan.
Playing this game is kind of like playing chess. My opening move with the Fatimid has been to always get the armies towards Gaza, your professional army towards Gaza, because you're gonna get attacked by the Crusader states one day. And on top of that, you will be attacked by the Turks as well. So one of my things that I've always done is to move my professional soldiers to Gaza, and then move my what BGR sets as manpower, my 1 manpower units towards the northeastern parts of my empire. So with BGR 5, whenever you want to recruit, you have to take into account the manpower of each unit. So as the value, the professionalism of your unit becomes higher, you need more manpower to recruit. So it makes the game more real in the sense that the majority of your armies are all gonna be low manpower units, and then you're gonna be sprinkled in with some professional and elite units. So part of my opening move is to always get the diplomat onto the ship and send it to get trade agreements. Then send an imam towards Jerusalem to start converting people to Islam over there, and send a spy. So you're gonna open up with 2 imams. So one from Alexandria and then one from Taima. I'm gonna send all of them there. And then in order to rebuild my economy, I'm gonna disband all 1 manpower units. So the problem with this mod is that if you disband the units with more than 1 manpower, you only get a quarter of the manpower back. So you shouldn't. It's meant to prevent exploitation of the game. So you should always. You should never disband your high manpower units in general. But you can disband your 1 manpower units to reduce the upkeep and also increase the population of your settlements. So that's what I'm doing right now. Basically shifting everyone, disbanding everyone. And usually in this first turn, so far I've never set any manpower settings in terms of military recruitment. I set it to 0. So basically all of my recruits are gonna come from all of these disbanded units. And the reason is very simple. At very hard, and with this mod, your economy is crushed during the first year of gameplay. So I'm just gonna keep the bare minimum of units. So with this mod, all of your generals have their own money, have their estates, and all of this have to be taken into account. You can't allow your generals to become bankrupt. And whenever you want to recruit units, some parts of the recruitment cost will come from your generals. So you have to keep your generals pretty rich. So part of the opening turn is to set up all economic buildings. That's what I'll be doing here. So with Alexandria, my main aim is to get the public order up by building all the madrasas and libraries first. In Cairo, I'm gonna start with a chain of river forts. It will get the economy up and running. So with this mod, you need your governor in your settlement to recruit or to make buildings. But in the first turn, you can do it without a governor. And since I'm not gonna be using Demiera for any recruitment, I'm gonna destroy all unnecessary buildings to get the money. Because as you'll see in future videos, I'm gonna be broke. And that's the point of this mod. It's extremely difficult. It's only for the masochists. So in the beginning, I'm gonna try to maximize my income without having my settlements riot. So one of the problems with this campaign in the beginning, Antioch is always gonna be in negative population. So that's a bit difficult. While if you can develop Damascus very well, you can get the Silk Road stop. Gets you a lot of cash. But anyways, I'm always gonna prioritize low cost buildings that boost the economy. So I'm gonna, and also what I always do in the beginning is that I will eventually move my Gaza governor, which is the faction heir to Al-Aqaba. And you will eventually know why I do that. So as you can see, basically most of the settlements all do not have any one manpower units.
Orders. How may I serve, Sultan? Orders. We march.
So I'm
Sultan.
moving my units about just to make it more balanced for the eventual Crusader state assault. So I'm moving my spy out just to, you know,
As you will.
get the other settlements into view. So the problem with this mod, and with me myself, I'm always just double checking. So here again, disbanding all one
How may
manpower
I serve,
units.
Sultan? Sultan.
So as you can see, I'm in a negative in terms of money. Right.
Orders, mighty Sultan!
So I have a lot of professional armies there. Eventually I'll split them up. Send the professional units towards the Gaza and Al-Qaba region. Then send the one manpower units up northeast. So you can see there are recruit pools. So your local and
Orders,
central
mighty
recruit
Sultan.
pools.
Orders,
So
mighty Sultan.
each settlement which is not centrally governed will have their own individual local recruit pool, and you can only recruit from the pool, or else you do not have enough manpower. Gonna turn off some alarms there, sorry. So part of the opening, the Seljuks, the Turks will always come roaming around your region. The thing with this mod is that if you allow enemy units to hang around, they will ravage your lands. So as usual, the Crusader states are gonna ask for trade agreements. I'm never gonna agree to them. So part of the opening is that they will always be shifting units around. So after the first turn, you will always get some governors as part of the game. So I'm gonna use that new governor eventually to just stay in Cairo. I'm gonna move my faction leader eventually towards Gaza with the aim of defending and attacking the Crusader states. which is an eventuality. I guess I wasn't playing around at this time. You gotta understand that as a person with lots of kids and life in general, always multitasking when I'm playing games.
What does the Sultan will?
So in the beginning, as usual, gonna get some trade routes first with Venice. So the easiest way to get trade routes is to actually offer map information. And usually with the smaller factions, there will be no problem with getting trade routes. And you will need them to boost your economy. Because as I mentioned before, your economy will be screwed by the time you're attacked by the Crusader states and the Turks.
I see no problem here. It is agreed.
So I don't know why it always takes time when you do these trade
This
agreements that
concludes our
involve
meeting,
map
yes?
information. I guess just a problem with the game engine.
Inshallah, our
So
wind
usually
shall
after
be fair.
Venice, gonna move my diplomat to the Byzantines,
Your will.
and
Fine, Ashok.
usually in the beginning you can get trade routes every single turn. So I'm gonna eventually destroy buildings.
Orders, mighty Sultan. Yes,
Disembarking to spread the faith, Sultan. Salaam.
My eyes are yours. As you will.
Right. So my spy has been moved about. You can see where the units are of the Crusader states.
I serve the
In
faith
basically,
as the Sultan will.
Naam, great
don't need
Sultan.
to bother too much. They will
God
always
send.
be there, every single campaign.
How may I
So
serve,
now I'm
Sultan?
gonna move
Sultan
my
Galah.
Mamluk
Orders,
archers
mighty Sultan.
as well as the Desert Cav,
As you will.
which are relatively high manpower units to Gaza. And by the second turn, all of your governors will have a governorship of their settlements. So by moving my faction heir from Gaza to Al-Aqaba, he becomes the governor of Al-Aqaba instead of Gaza. So gonna give the administrator retinue to the
As my Sultan
other
will.
governor there.
How may I serve,
So he will
Sultan?
become a central administrator.
Orders, mighty Sultan.
And what I will do
Yes, Sultan.
is that I'll move
Great
my
Sultan.
faction leader towards the coast of Demiera. So usually because of how the game engine works, eventually, hopefully, I'll
How
get
may I
a
serve, Sultan?
governor for adoption over
Orders.
there.
We move, Sultan.
So again,
God said.
gonna move my one manpower units towards the northeast
Inshallah, the winds shall
so that
return tomorrow.
I can recruit better units over there. And I try not to disband units into
As my
Gaza
Sultan
because you can
wills.
see during the first
Sultan.
turns of the game, Gaza has actually negative population growth. So if I disband,
As my Sultan will. As my Sultan
it's
will.
not very productive economy-wise.
As my
So
Sultan, as
in
my Sultan
BGR,
wills. As my
we
Sultan
also have
wills.
this thing called the
As my Sultan wills.
supply train. So as your units move, obviously you need supplies. So just like in real war. So one of the ways that you can sustain yourself in long travels is with the resupply train. But
my Sultan
obviously a
wills.
resupply train
Sultan.
is when it's heavy, when it's full, it's pretty heavy. So it will limit the movement of your governors, which hold the
at first
resupply
light.
train.
As my Sultan wills.
And you will need to buy supplies. Your governor needs to buy supplies, whether it's to govern or to recruit or to feed the troops under him. He will need supplies. And if he doesn't have supplies, your governors may revolt. or become traders. So you always, every single turn, gonna try to maximize the income of the cities. Of course, you can't do that with your castle line of settlements. You can always do that with your cities. So always in my first few turns, I'm gonna recruit artillery because I'm gonna destroy the artillery buildings afterwards. So I'm gonna recruit catapults where I can, which will be in Antioch, Damascus, and I'm gonna recruit a ballista in Aleppo. And eventually I'll recruit a catapult in Gaza
Orders,
and
mighty
another
Sultan.
ballista in Al-Aqaba.
Naam, great Sultan.
As my Sultan
So
wills.
hopefully with the faction leader near Demira, there'll be a governor for adoption over there.
Sultan. How may I serve, Sultan?
So one of the problems with this mod is that since you eventually have few units in your settlements, you're always in danger of unexpected rebel attacks. So again, gonna maximize income without having my population revolt or having negative or stagnant population growth, because you need your settlements to develop. So the Turks gonna try to bribe, they're gonna roam around. Eventually I'm gonna attack them, but not now. I need to build up my troops. And that'll be it for now. So hopefully I'll be more consistent back again in terms of uploading videos, whether it's to this channel or to the MySigra channel. So just wait until the end of this particular set of AI turns, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks.